into a nutshell what the process for the book that I'm just talking about is. First, connect with an international colleague, and then we collaborated to plan the project. We used Google Drive to share our stories and to co-write. And then I exported those files as PDF. I used a tool, I use a Mac. The tool I use is called Preview, but there are also tools on your PCs that will allow you to consolidate your PDF files into a single file. And then you upload the file to the publisher, send it off, they print it, and then you get the books back. So there are lots of publishers out there, and I advise you to price around and look for what suits your needs. But I have found, I've always used Lulu because every time I've priced, they seem to be really good quality books at a really good price. Okay, now here's the process for the individual students. Okay, that's the process for making the book. Here's the process for getting the writing done, the actual work. So the first thing I do is collaborate with the teachers and their PLTs to figure out what kind of content objectives I can work with. And then we use writing frames and models. I'll show you some of those in a minute. And now with Google, there's voice typing. So on Google Drive, if you haven't learned how to do voice typing yet, that is so cool. Because you can just like click up there and start talking, and it will look just like Siri, you know, but it puts it into words on Google Doc. Also, we sometimes need Google Translate, especially if we have students who are new and they don't have a language that I can speak, which is not that many: English, Spanish, Italian, and like that many words of Mandarin, which wouldn't help that much. And then now they use Book Creator to create the layout. Then, how many people in here use Seesaw? Okay, so we use Seesaw because to me that's just, there are lots of other ways to share, but that's like a super easy way. The kids post it on Seesaw, and then I can just load it, and I've got all the PDF files so I can combine them easily. But there are lots of ways to do it. We do that on Google Drive too. Okay. Oh, and then ebooks. Alicia will be talking about ebooks. I've created ebooks in the past that I like put on my website so that students could share them with their families. But the service that I was using for ebooks now charges. So she's going to touch on some free options for publishing ebooks. Okay, oh, and here's a couple of pictures of my kiddos at some of the Author Corner events, you know, where they read their work, they read something, their favorite thing out of the book, and that's when their parents come, and sometimes we have their peers come, and they get a book and a certificate and become published authors. Okay, so here are a couple of free publishing options. If you don't want to deal with publishing a book, you don't have to. There's lots of ways you can get this out to a wider audience. There are lots of ways we can make an authentic product without having to get a grant, without having to print stuff, without having to have Authors Corner events. And one way to do it is the Seesaw blog. So I love Seesaw. I've taught a couple of PDs before about Seesaw, and I'll be happy to tell you how wonderful Seesaw is if you want to know. But it is so easy. And one of the options on Seesaw is the blog. And the blog is so cool because it really motivates the kids to do their best work, because when they post something to Seesaw, they can request that I put it on the blog, but I only put blog-worthy stuff on the blog. So if it needs to get edited, or something needs to happen for it to be blog-worthy, they're very anxious to improve their writing because they want it to be on the blog. So here's our blog. Here's some of the student passports, which I'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. The students have been doing a project where they've been making passports. And here's some of their writing that they created with Book Creator. So we were doing poetry. This is my fourth graders. They were doing poetry. And these are poetry things about animals, because we're also working on asking and answering questions. So we covered a whole lot of language objectives here, and content objectives too. Okay, so I'm going to let you look at one of the passports. Oh, you can't see that one too well. I love this one because the fact about the Sudan is so important for me because it is my country. Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
How is the blog different than the journal?
The journal.
So you select certain things to put in there, whereas the journal would be everything. But what's
Okay, so there's a little icon, a little settings icon. You can choose to enable the blog, and after you enable the blog, then you can assign the stuff to the blog, and you can do it yourself. You can go through it. There's this little icon that looks like a globe.
Oh,
You can
okay.
click on the globe icon, and that'll put it in your blog. Or the students can click on the globe icon, and then it'll ask, do you give them permission to put it on the blog? And then okay, like
So what's the difference between them? Though?
okay, well, everything they publish goes on the journal.
Right.
If you send home the thing for their parents to see their work, they're only going to see their child's work, okay? On the blog, everything on the blog is available to everybody who has the blog code. So, I mean, of course, you want to make sure the parents have permission for their children's work to be on the internet because it's a wider audience. But there's just a QR code, and you just send it home, and they can share it with anybody they want to, and they can see their work and their classmates' work that's on the blog. Yes, you're welcome. Okay, so any other questions about the blog before I switch gears a little bit?
Do you have to use the blog in Seesaw in order to upload or download the PDF files?
No, you do
Okay.
not.
Okay.
You can just use the journal.
Okay.
And there's those three little dots in
Yes.
the corner. You can click there, and one of the choices is download,
Download,
and you can
okay.
download
Okay.
it to your computer.
All right. Thank you.
Any other Seesaw questions? Okay. So I'm going to show you some writing frames, and I have shared these with you. I will talk about that at the end, about how you can see all these. Actually, I'll talk about it now. This is the ESL Toolbox Team Drive, and I'm sharing it with all of you. It's got, I'm going to be telling you as I go through which of my lesson plans, which of my writing frames and stuff is on here. But I want you all to join the ESL Team Drive so that you can have access to these materials. So for instance, in the poetry folder on the Team Drive, here are my writing frames, the rubric, graphic organizers that I used when I did the 5W poetry. And then we did another one. Let's see, what else we did? Oh, seasons. That was another one we did. Oh, feelings. Feelings was a favorite kind of poem. These are poems about the kids' feelings, and these are sentence frames that I did, and then a little graphic organizer. So this is all. No, it won't let you into Team Drive until I give you permission. So that's why we're all going to click on that today. And it says request, did it say request permission?
I did.
Good. So that's what I want everybody to do. And this is a great time to do it. Just click on, yes. It'll tell you I have to grant you access, but if you click on it, it'll send me a message on my email, and all I have to do is click grant access, and boom, boom, you'll be into ESL Tool Drive too. And if you do it now, I might be able to do it by the end of the class, and then we'll all be able to get in. Okay, let me go back here. Okay, something else I want to show you besides the writing frames are models. So we made a Google Classroom here for our elective, and we put models for things that are really difficult to imagine. Like, I mean, the Diamante poem is pretty abstract because you start off with one thing, and then in the middle of the poem it changes into something else, and at the bottom you end up with a different thing. So we made examples for the kids and put it out on Google Classroom, along with you put a noun here, you put adjectives here, you put verbs here. So we had both those things out there for them. But we told them they could change this, but they couldn't just use it. They had to make their own. And they were really good about that. We didn't have any problems with kids just copying. Okay, and then other supports that you can provide for your students as they're doing their writing is collaboration. You can let them work together. Google Translate, I mentioned before, voice typing, they can dictate to you. And something else really cool is if you're working on academic language like we all are, a thesaurus is a very useful way to help kids get some academic vocabulary into their writing. Okay, so if you are interested in procuring a grant so that you can get funding to do any kind of project, and it doesn't have to be a book writing project, there are all kinds of awesome things you can do. Geeta and I collaborated when we were working together on a grant for a book club, and the kids got to read and keep books, and we made videos of the kids for their book talks. They pick a book, take it home, read it, make a book talk, videotape it to do peer teaching, and then they got to keep the book and pick another one. So all kinds of things. These are all linked, so if you want to see about the information about any of these grants, you can just click there. And then some other ideas, okay? So I talked a lot about the book project because I'm really passionate about it and I love it. But there's lots of other things that I really love too. So one of the things is a cultural artifact project. And this is the one that I collaborated with Emily and Denise on. And if you click here on this, that's linked after you get access to my Google Drive, it takes you to my lesson plan. And you're welcome to use it, copy it, change it, whatever you want to do. And so this has been a really, really cool project. The students are examining what artifacts say about our culture. And we're looking at what their artifacts say about them. So I have requested from Carolina Navigators culture kits. Has anybody ever used culture kit from Carolina Navigators?
Maybe not. I have like something where I've gone and picked up something like it's got about
In Chapel Hill?
I didn't actually go pick it up. Someone else did.
Okay.
But it was like a whole cool kit full of all this authentic stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yes, that is exactly what it is. It is a full kit full of all this authentic stuff. So you pick the country you're interested in, and I chose countries that my students are from, and then I invited their parents to come out. And wow, they've been coming out. Every time I ask somebody, they're here. They want to come share about their culture, teach the kids about it. We make videos and put that on the morning news show. And there's a picture of Yusuf and his mom and a couple of students looking at some artifacts from Palestine. She brought some artifacts too, but that came from a culture kit.